Hey y'all, it's Vicky and welcome to another video. So I'm going to be using the microphone today and then you'll have a better idea of what's going on with it. I know right now the don't care is winning, but anyway, there's a poll over on my community tab. So if you've not participated, feel free to go ahead. So I'm going to test this and see if it made sure that it worked, and then I'll be back. So as I said in the video, and I've said before, I don't like my voice on a microphone. And maybe that's why I have an issue with it. Now, when I'm outside or something like that, it's different. But when I'm inside the house, in this dining room, I just don't like it when I play it back. If you have to listen to yourself, you know, when you play stuff back or watch yourself, you get a different opinion than other people may. So today is Wednesday, and it is December 10th, 7:34 a.m. And the temperature is, I want to say 33. Yep, 33. That's what it was when I looked a few minutes ago. So we're going to go ahead and start. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 10. And we're going to go ahead and start with my calendar here. For them open. We got 2 days to do since I didn't do one yesterday. So we've got the 9th and the 10th. So the 9th is just the Grinch standing there smiling. And then the 10th is the Grinch pointing at the sky. So this is really cute. All right, now we'll move on from that. And we'll go ahead and talk about Tim to start with. So we'll know at about, we'll say at 2 minutes into this video, I'm talking about Tim. So I'll put timestamps, of course. So because I'm going to move on and talk about hair a little bit. All right. Now, in the first video yesterday, Tim did, he's walking around Nathan Benderson Park, or the other name, if you want to call it that. And he also walks up to the aquarium. Now, that aquarium's been built now for a while. And he's just now starting to mention it. Of course, like I say, I don't watch every video. And he talks about going, and he keeps talking about how much does it cost. And I'm like, why didn't you look that up? You could have stopped filming and looked it up, and you would know. It's $35. I done looked. And there's some add-ons if you want to get more detailed. And you also have to have an appointment. It's just not a walk-in. So evidently, you still get some individualized, but I guess if you want, there's probably a group tour it looks like every 30 minutes or so. Or every hour, I don't know. Anyway, but you do have to have an appointment, so it's not like you can just walk up. I guess you can walk up and wait. Anyway, it's $35. There may be some fees and tax to that, or that may be all it is. It's not bad. Okay, then Tim talks about that he got invited by the neighborhood to attend Singo Bingo. Of course, I've never heard of Singo Bingo. I had to look it up. And, you know, which sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, I might go to something around here if we had it. I guess I could start my own. But I don't want people in my house. See, that's the problem. I'm just not in it. I don't know. That's a long story. Anyway, I do think there is some places around here that have bingo, but I've never really checked them out. Y'all know when I come home, I'm home. I don't go back out unless I have to. And I know I need to change. That's one thing I need to change in 2026 is I need to start getting out more instead of being stuck in the house all the time. I'm too young to be stuck in the house all the time, in my opinion. And let's see. So he talks about the DJI, about he didn't need that camera and blah, blah, blah. And he sent it back and he still hasn't got credit for it. And I would say it's going to take a long time. Now, he bought that with that credit card to get the reduce. I don't know how the deal worked. All I know is that he got so much credit. So I don't know how all this is going to work for him. It may not work exactly the way he thinks it's going to. We'll see, and I'm sure we'll know about it if it does. Okay, his second video was after Singo Bingo. And if I had been somebody just off the cuff betting about this, I figured he'd come in and say, oh, I got bingo and all that stuff. But he didn't. So at least he was honest. And I maybe because he probably told them about the video or that he does YouTube, that, you know, I'm sure he went in there and said, I'm a big YouTuber, check me out. That he couldn't tell a fib. Oh, the one thing I forgot to mention about on the other video is the one where he did the fireside chat the other night in the gazebo. Supposedly over in the next RV park, trailer park, whatever, the police was trying to arrest someone, and he was listening in on the loudspeaker, and the name that they were trying to arrest was Dominique, and it was kind of funny that. But I mean, people get arrested all the time. You know, I've had people arrested beside of me, but you know, it just happens in some neighborhoods. It can happen in the nicest neighborhood in the world, or it can happen in the worst neighborhood in the world. You just never know. But it's just the way he tries to make some big deal about it, about him living in the ghetto. I don't know that he really lives in the ghetto. It doesn't look like the nicest neighborhood, but I don't think it's probably the worst either from what Jose of Southern Life has showed us. Okay, so he talks about playing Slingo Bingo, or Singo, I want to say Slingo, because there's a game on the phone called Slingo Bingo or something like that. Singo Bingo at the clubhouse. So I guess this was at the clubhouse, not at someone's yard or whatever. Anyway, so the first game involved country songs, and he had to go buy a Christmas sweater for this because they told him he needed to wear a Christmas sweater. And they first said red, and he said he didn't have no red. He has a red shirt. He could have put a ribbon around him, some lights around him. But no, he goes to Walmart and gets him a sweater. We bet that sweater goes back. So if you live in that area, don't be buying no men's Christmas sweater that looks like what he has on. Of course, he had to show the lights. Well, a lot of us have. That's nothing new. That's been out forever, or I feel like forever now. I've got some like that. And I mean, I know one I've got is at least 10 years old, that it's got a cat on it with lights. My hats. I got 2 hats here with lights. I got on my Buc-ee's shirt today. I've never wore it to work, but I'm going to wear it today. As I said, when it gets cold like this, because I don't have much heat, I wear what's comfortable and warm. All right. So the host used a karaoke machine, and when they were playing a song come up, you know, in the bingo card, they would sing the song. And then the next game was Christmas songs. Each game was $4, which wasn't bad, I don't think. I think they're probably more than that around here. They're probably $5. I'll have to ask somebody at work because they go to them how much they are. And this is a great way to get to know your neighbors. And that's good for Tim. Tim needs to find other people to talk. I won't say talk about, I was going to say that, but to associate with. He may meet somebody that he can go to dinner with. And I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just talking about somebody to hang out with. Everybody needs somebody to hang out with. So anyway, that's about all I got to say about that. You know, yesterday I probably went overboard on the stupid word, but, you know, I just think having a fire inside that gazebo is stupid. Maybe it has flame retardant stuff on it. I don't know. I just think it's stupid. And that's all I got to say about that. So I'm going to stop this and we're going to talk about hair. Okay, now at about 11 minutes in, we're talking about hair. And I'm not going to make this really long because I'm going to do another one when my new hair system comes in. I ordered the latest drugstore hair system a few weeks ago when it said that it was going to be released, and I think it was released on the 9th. Now, my shipping notice said it would be delivered today. I do not know if it will be or not. Anyway, I went ahead and washed my hair yesterday because I thought, well, I can wash it again. I may have to start washing it more often anyway with my hair being this color. Now, of course, a lot of the brown did come off, as I figured it would. The water, when I looked at it, because I washed it at the sink, the water was brown. So anytime you're putting a darker color over blonde, it's gonna lighten up over time. So maybe the next time it won't be as brown, and then it'll stop. Anyway, let's keep going. Not make this video so long. I wanted to talk about that I've ordered the hair system. I'm not going to tell you what it is now. You may already know. But it is a drugstore hair care. Now, it's not going to have drugstore prices. So go ahead and or to me, it's not going to have drugstore prices. The whole system is around $50. Which, when you compare it to a salon, that is quite a bit. It is less. Because most of the time at salons, if you get a whole system, I mean, you're looking at over $100. You know, I'm saying if you get everything. Anyway, that is coming, and I'll talk about it when it gets here. Now, the company, Procter & Gamble, who owns this brand, did a deep dive scientific study. And I think they did test this over somewhere in Europe, maybe Asia, not sure exactly, before it came to the market. Now, it has been on the market, I think, longer overseas, but it's just now being released in the United States. And this is a brand that gets a lot of flack sometimes. Before it was bought out by Procter & Gamble, I loved it. But once Procter & Gamble got a hold of it, I felt like it was just not the same. But my mom used it for years, if that tells you anything, because I've mentioned before what she used, and that's what she used. Now, according to Lab Muffin, who I watch quite a bit, she's a cosmetic chemist who has also done studied ingredients in hair products. She did a video on it, and it was sponsored by Procter & Gamble, so I'll go ahead and tell you that. But I feel like she still was being honest, and I think if she didn't like it at all, she would have just said, I'm not going to do the video, and she would have been paid. I just trust her that much. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyway, I know I say, I don't know all the time. I don't know. She said she could definitely tell a difference in her roots. Now, one of the things that this line talks about is the scalp, making sure the scalp is clean. And I know I've heard several hair influencers keep talking about scalp hair. And that's why they're saying maybe we're not washing our hair enough. And I don't agree with that. I don't think everybody needs to wash their hair every day. It depends, like I say, on your scalp. If you have a tendency to have issues with your scalp, then yeah, you probably need to be washing it more, but not washing it with anything really strong. But this system works on the scalp. It does not work. It's not meant to make your hair grow, from what I understand, but that still could be something that happens because your scalp is healthier. But what it will do is make your hair stronger, and that's what I need. I'm not worried so much about growth because, I'm going to keep my hair about this length. They're a little shorter to begin with, so I'm not one that's wanting my hair to be, down to my butt. But if somebody does, then, maybe they need to kind of alternate this with something else. I just like the part that she said it makes it stronger because y'all know I have my frizzy ends, and since I don't really blow my hair the correct way, it's hard for me to get them out even with a flat iron because I don't leave the heat on long enough. All right, let's move on. So I'm going to show you now some products that I use to get my hair this way with the kind of poofy, there's a text message up there, the poofy look on the top. All right, I washed my hair. What did I wash my hair in? I washed my hair last night in the Kohl Rothschild shampoo. Now, I didn't bring that in here. You've seen me show it before. Kohl Rothschild is a brand that's available online only. And, of course, you have to order. It's not cheap by any means, but a little goes a long way. Now, when I use her products, her mask and her shampoo, I do not use the conditioner. I find my hair feels thicker. Not a great big, It doesn't give me huge hair or nothing like that. I just feel my hair is thicker up in here. And also I feel that it holds the poofy look better. The little bit of tease look, whatever. And I know teasing is not good for my hair, so nobody has to tell me that. Anyway, I just like my hair to be poofy on top because I have a flat head. I have a flat head on top. Sarasota Tim has a flat head in the back. I don't know what the difference is. All right. So what I use and what I have talked about a couple of times lately was the first thing I talked about a few weeks ago was this MoroccanOil treatment mist that is new. Now, to me, all this is the oil mixed in with this Glimmer and Shine mist. See, I've got them all. None of them were bought at the same time, trust me. And you can see I've used a quarter of it already. And this is the smallest size. So it's, I do like it, but I don't feel I need this and this. And, that's just the way I feel. This here is more, it says shine, but I still say it's about the same thing. I haven't compared ingredients, but I'm talking about smell, weight, everything. It's about the same. So maybe this might be better for the ends. I don't know. It might have a little bit more of the treatment oil, but I still say they're pretty close. Now, if you have oily hair that it doesn't have ends that are dried, you don't bleach them, you don't color, this is probably all you need. Or this one. You probably don't need the actual treatment oil. Now this one, I've had over a year. And see, I've not used it all. I don't use that much of it. I probably should use more, but I don't because I use it sparingly. I have another one that I use too. So anyway, I think these, for me, are the best that I've found. And I've tried Kerastase and all them others that are up there expensive. But for me, this works the best. Plus, I love the way it smells. Now, what I use to get my hair poofy is, well, where'd it go? I thought about, okay, here it is. I will sprinkle this in the roots. This is the Bumble and Bumble Pretty Powder. And it's just like a powder that you put on your roots. Now, I'm not going to say you couldn't use just a regular powder, face powder, whatever. But anyway, that's what I put on the roots. Now, I've tried every powder there is. But this one for the money, this big one to me is the best. And you can get it at Sephora. Now, I went and took the plunge one day. If anybody watches Harmonized Beauty on Instagram, she came out with her own products. She's a hairdresser, also a makeup artist. She sells Saint makeup. Anyway, she's one of the top sellers of Saint. She came out with this powder. And it goes like this. And you can just sprinkle it on your hair and then rub it in the roots. It works kind of like a dry shampoo, but it's just the actual powder. That cabinet, the dish is rattling. I was trying to see if I was doing it, but it's not me, it's the road. Anyway, I don't find this any better than this one. Now, Big Sexy Hair also has a pretty good one that's in a spray pump, but it's expensive too. All of them are expensive. Now, you can find them at the drugstore, but I just always have liked this one. Now, I'm trying to see the ounces. Okay, this has 2 fluid ounces. And this has 0.32. This is definitely the better buy. This, to me, is outrageous for how much you get. This one was like $27. I won't buy it again, trust me. Okay, now, I use that. I also use my flat iron to kind of lift the roots up. And I'll hold it just a second there. And then I'll spray it just slightly with this Style on Steroids. This is a texturizing spray. Now, you don't want to use much. I know some people say that they have to wash their hair the next day with this. You don't if you just use it sparingly. Because trust me, if I had to wash my hair every day, I wouldn't use it. And then I set it with the Wow Texan Hold'em Big Bold Hairspray. This is another thing I've heard people say you can't comb through. You can. I mean, you can comb, you can brush, but you need to be gentle. And this should last most of the day. Now, my hair sometimes has a tendency to fall if I get hot or something like that. So I'm not going to say for sure that it, won't fall. But it usually lasts all day, the first day, if I spray it enough. Now, I also have this Wow Raise the Root that you can hold up your roots and spray and then take the blow dryer. And that does help if your hair is really weighed down or you really want it to be high. I just know that if you keep messing with your roots and stuff, it's not healthy. And I try to put on the least amount of product that I can get. So that's the styling products that I use. Now, I don't use them every day. I'll use them one time, and then chances are I'll only use that oil again on the ends. And I'll use that, either I'll use this hairspray or I'll use the MoroccanOil hairspray. Either one of those. And I don't buy the big cans of the Moroccan anymore. I know it's a better buy, but I'd rather buy the travel size. So if I do happen to go somewhere, I can just take that travel size with me. And I always try to make sure I do my hair right before I go on vacation, or I don't go on weeks vacations. I go on 2 days at max, usually. So I don't have to worry about my hair. I always take a shower cap if you're traveling now, because so many of these showers are putting the overhead rain type showers. So I always take a shower cap, because you never know. The hotels don't always leave one. I know I've said that before. All right, y'all, I'm going to go because this video is going to be probably 25 minutes long. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And I'm probably going to do a giveaway before Christmas of an Amazon gift card. So just keep watching. And we'll do that soon. All right. Talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye.